The sons of Issachar had one skill. They understood the times and knew what Israel should do in those times. And David surrounded himself with these men. That is one of the reasons why he prospered. Today, you need the same skill, but you can't develop it when you're fragmented. Let me explain. Welcome to Shifts and Ladders. This is Ryan. We are concluding our teaching on David, and we're going to anchor it in 1 Chronicles chapter 12, verses 23 through 40. But we're going to focus on verses 32. So I want to give a little bit of context on this chapter because it's pretty dope. In 1 Chronicles chapter 12, we get a list of warriors who joined David when he was rising to power, as he was uniting the tribes of Israel. The Bible describes most of them by their military skills. So I'm going to give an example. The Gadites were brave warriors that were ready for battle. That's in verse 8. The Benjamites, armed with bows and able to shoot arrows. That's in verse 2. The men of Judah carrying shield and spear. That's in verse 24. But in verse 32, it says something completely different about the tribe of Issachar. And it says this: from Issachar, men who understood the times and knew what Israel should do, 200 chiefs with all of their relatives under their command. That's it. No knife skills, no action figure, karate chop, nothing. This was their whole skill, not military strength, not tactical prowess. What they brought was they could read the moment. They understood the times and what to do. And David, the most successful king in Israel's history, had himself surrounded by men who had this ability. Because if you don't have people surrounding you when you can't see the times, you will miss out on the opportunity. So let me get to this piece because this matters. Think about David's life. He prospered in ways other leaders after him or before him didn't. He killed Goliath when seasoned warriors were paralyzed by fear, by the way. They were scared. He knew when to fight Saul and when to flee. He knew when to spare Saul's life, which he did twice, even when he could have taken the throne for himself. He waited 15 years from the time he was anointed to be king to the time he was coronated to be king, because he could read God's timing. And he knew to bring the Ark of Jerusalem and when to wait to bring it. David's prosperity wasn't just about his skill. It was about his gift of discernment. He could see what others missed. He could read the times and could discern when God was moving. And he checked in with God if he didn't know where he was moving. And that is one of the reasons why he prospered so much. So let's fast forward to today. All right. We're living in a moment that requires discernment. AI is disrupting every single industry right now. You either hear AI, you get triggered by excitement, or you get triggered because you're scared. Very paralyzing perspective of this tool. The economy is shifting in ways we haven't seen in 50 years, y'all. I mean, we don't know what it's going to look like soon. Culture is fragmented faster than we've ever been. Leadership paradigms are being rewritten in real time. What was working one time is not working at all. And clearly you are seeing what leadership looks like when it gets left behind, because what's left behind doesn't work now. It's antique, it's vintage. And it's not because they're not working hard. It's not because they're not smart. It's because they can't see the moment clearly. They're reacting and not being proactive. We're hustling and not prospering. We're missing out on opportunities that are right in front of our faces. I'm talking to myself as a leader as well. But you can't see the times clearly if you are fragmented. You cannot see the times clearly if you are fragmented. Let me explain why. I said how. Let me explain why. Fragmented leaders can't see the times because fragmentation creates noise. You have multiple voices competing for attention. So you got the corporate you saying we need to scale. We have the spiritual you saying we need to slow down and pray. You have the survival you saying I got to play it safe. I got to avoid the risks. You have the family you saying I need to be present. I need to prioritize the relationships. All of this noise is going on in our heads, and we can't hear God because we're hearing ourselves. We can't discern his timing because we have so much internal chaos going on. So let me give you an example of what this is like, okay? I live in the great state of Ohio, and the Buckeyes are our team. And in college, we played at Ohio State. And one of the things that I found is we could be communicating at one moment very clearly. But when the third down hits and that bell rings and the crowd gets into it, I cannot hear this other person over the noise. That's what fragmentation sounds like. That's what it does. Your message may be clear, but you cannot hear the whisper of God because you're so distracted by the noise. God may be whispering to you about time, opportunity, and direction, but because you have so much going on inside, you can't hear him. Okay. Fragmentation leads to misalignment. So think about this. Your business decisions are disconnected from your spiritual discernment when you are out of alignment. So think about this. You pray on Sunday, but you hustle on Monday. But your hustle is not informed by your prayer. So they never talk to each other. You ask God for direction in your quiet time, but you ignore what he said when you got to the office because this is business. That's ministry. You compartmentalize your life into sacred and secular. That's a problem. David was an integrated person. His worship informed his warfare. His private relationship with God informed his public decisions. He was a worshiper warrior. His confidence came from his intimacy with God, not just his skills with the sling. Okay? You could see it in the moment when he's fighting Goliath. But then the problem number 3 when it comes to fragmentation is it creates fear-based decisions. Integrated leaders move from faith while fragmented leaders move from fear. You can't discern God's voice clearly when you're operating out of fear. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So when the fear of failure, missing out, what people may think about you, or making the wrong move informs your compass, you start to react. You make impulsive choices, and you will miss the moment. David did not miss moments, y'all. He operated in faith. That was clear when he showed up on the battlefield with Goliath. It was a divine setup, and he did not miss them. And I'm going to tell you how he knew. He said, what does the champion get for slaying the Philistine? He's like, what's in it for me? Whoever does this, what do they get? They got free taxes for the whole family. They get money. They get Saul's daughter. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff involved. It wasn't just him showing up. There was an opportunity involved. He's like, no, if I'm going to do this, what's in it? What's going to pay me? And that is a discerning thing to have. Okay? David has solutions here for this, though. And you cannot develop a skill like the sons of Issachar and David if you don't have this first thing. First things first, cultivate an intimacy with God in private. Before David even killed Goliath, he was worshiping God in the fields while he was watching the sheep. That's where integration comes. You can't compartmentalize your life into worship time and work time. His worship was his work, and his work was his worship. He practiced the presence of God when nobody was looking. So in the hidden times, when no one saw him but God, he showed up whole, okay? This is not just for like going to church on Sunday. And it's not just devotional time, but what David showed was a lifestyle of what it looks like to be continuously connected with God. Bible says to pray without ceasing. Ceasing doesn't mean continuously like this. It means, I can't get a circle. It means to not lose connection. You have some of those people that are like super holy, that are like, I'm talking to God all the time. Well, somebody was just talking to you. Why don't you talk to them because they asked you a question? Like, no, it means checking in with God, that there's not a period, but a comma. And we take a pause and I come back and then I just checking in. That is what God is calling us to do. So when was the last time you practiced the presence of God in mundane moments? Like driving in the car, walking into the office, doing dishes, busting suds, washing clothes. That is where integration is formed, y'all. It's not just big moments, but it's in the small moments that we get to know God. And those small moments lead to moments where you are anchored in big times, like David was when he showed up to beat Goliath. Okay. Number 2, David showed and brought his whole self to every situation. Okay. So when David showed up to fight Goliath, King Saul tried to put his armor on David, his royal armor, the Kevlar, the military grade protection, the best equipment available. They put it on David and said, I can't move. He said, I can't move well in these because they're not mine. Man, it's such a bar. Most people try to put what they have gone through and what expertise they have on you. And David wasn't trying to be someone else. He was trying to be himself. He didn't try to fit in, even though he would be king one day. He said, I'm going to do it the way God called me to do it. The shepherd who trusts God. The person who's showing up, who knows what he is skilled in. That is who's going to defeat this uncircumcised Philistine. Okay? You have to bring your whole self to every situation. Your faith, your skills, your history with God, your personality, your mistakes. God, let me tell y'all, if you think you're hiding from God, God already knows. So quit hiding. So what are you performing? Where are you performing instead of being present with God? Where are you switching up instead of showing up whole? Okay. You have to wait for God's timing and not ambition. David had multiple times he could have killed Saul to take the throne, but he waited on God. He could read it. He didn't make it happen. He allowed God to work it out. Integrated leaders don't hustle, they discern, they wait, they move and wait for God. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. This is what happens when you wait. That's a song. And then 4, you process the fragmentation through your worship. This is what I love deeply about David. He wrestled with his brokenness in real time in the Psalms. Some things he would say is like, why are you downcast, oh my soul? Why so disturbed? Why am I so disturbed within my soul? Oh Lord, create a new heart, create a clean heart within me, oh Lord, and renew a right spirit within me. In Psalms 51, search me, oh God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. David didn't avoid it, but he brought it to God and let God mend him back together. This is the process, y'all. This is the challenge. That in this time, we need God holistically and need us, and we need him to make us whole so that we can lead and love from a place of wholeness. And integration at the end of the day does lead to prosperity. When you show up the same way, you can't be, what's the word? You cannot be moved. And you're not afraid if somebody's going to find you out because you're whole. You're the whole person. Who you showed up as is who you are. I want to say this one more time about the Sons of Issachar because I think it's important. The Sons of Issachar were able to help position strategically like no other tribe could. Okay? That is important. You can have all the skills in the world, but if you are unable to strategically deploy that which you have acquired, it can be a waste. So if you stay fragmented, you will miss moments. You will continue to keep hustling. You will continue to work and not see results. You will continue to keep moving without purpose. You will be on a treadmill of life, managing multiple identities, reconciling internal conflicts, and reacting. to moments that you cannot see clearly. So you have a choice. Okay? And I want to help you with this. And this is something that has informed me by the life of David. I have what I call the integration gap assessment. Okay. Now you'll see this in the comments, in the description here. So here's my question for you. Are you seeing the times clearly, or are you so fragmented that you're missing moments? But are you like the sons of Issachar, able to discern what's happening, what to do? Do you have the self-awareness? Or are you like the other warriors? Are you strong and skilled, but blind to where you need to go, where you need to be? Okay. If you're a leader, if you're a high performer who is working hard, but feeling like you're missing opportunities, I have created this free 5-minute integration gap assessment. It'll show you exactly where you're fragmenting. And most importantly, it'll show you how much it's costing you. So you'll get a personalized score that breaks down your integration gap across 3 different dimensions, okay? Identity fragmentation, value misalignment, and purpose disconnection. And then you'll get a custom roadmap to close those gaps. Again, you can see the link is in the description. You make sure you click it. I pray it blesses you, because the sons of Issachar understood the times. And in this moment, with AI disrupting everything, culture shifts, and all the opportunities and threats emerging faster than they've ever been, you need the same skill of discernment. And integration is how you develop it, but you can't develop it separate from God and away from your awareness. Okay? So again, check in the description. The link is there. The integration gap assessment will bless you. Okay? I want you to be whole. God wants you to be whole, because he has work to do in you, through you, and for you. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.